Welcome. Hey guys. This has been a great week. I've had two major projects kind of wrap up and come out. Unwording, the video game soundtrack, and my music for an Alaska Airlines spot. Alexa Sally directed it. Hut Kwani, Hut, I think, yeah, Hut Kwani, which means salmon people. So it's kind of a huge, like, very, really feeling good. Like last 5 days or so. I'm going to be going through, as I've done in these, going through the soundtracks and like the music. I got the little gameplay stuff going on from Unwording, and then there's just a picture from the Alaska spot. We're going to listen to the Alaska one later. I don't think we're going to watch through it, but just going through the music on its own, separate from the spot. If you haven't seen it, you can go check it out on Alaska Airlines or just on my page or my link tree, Alex's link tree as well. So I'm pumped. Got my Mario shirt on. Feeling like I'm ready to go through the video game score. It's a big one for me. It's going to be like a 30-minute album. It's going to go through the tracks, kind of talk about how it progresses through start to finish, what changes. Really had a blast like writing this Unwording. So Unwording's a game from Frostwood Interactive. The developer's Armand Sandhu, and Armand's been great. He's been super supportive of the whole process, and Dino Digital is the publisher, who's also been super supportive. The soundtrack is finally out on streaming. And like I said, as I've done with all these, just going through, sharing my thoughts on stuff, and then I'll have some more updates too, just at the end of this. But let's just go through the Unwording soundtrack, and we can start with Strange Little Bird, the opening track on the album. There's nine pieces. Nine pieces. They're all kind of around the same similar versions of what the intro tracks are. I got to work with violinist Chandler Yu on providing the strings for the Lavender Orchestra. Because as you can see right here, kind of starts out in this world of like pinks, purples, lavender, and then it progresses towards the dog. I'm still so bad at knowing where the directions of these things are. Like the 3D world of full color and with the dog petting and all of that. So Strange Little Bird, track one. Laid down the theme already in the piano. Dun 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 dun. Synth electronics, I made those, kind of created those sounds. Nothing's default or stock. And some bells, so the B melody, just the alternative melody, the next one in this track. Mini build coming up right here. I like this part in the piano. Kind of just like a little embellishment. I think you can hear a lot of the texture and like the synthesizers that I was working with. Just really wanted to make things sound natural and textured, but also keep that like kind of playful spirit that Unwording has with those synths, those background electronics that you're hearing. So right there, I actually pitch bended the piano down. When I was recording the piano, on the last one, it kind of just goes, it drops like dome. Very slight, but just thought it was a little playful, more mysterious. Some guitar right there that you're hearing. And then we're coming to the end. Some more guitar takes us out. You have to play the game to see what the strange little bird is all about, but one of the main characters in the story. Takes us right into Alone, track number 2. Same melody, right? Same melody. Electric piano now. So starting off with a higher energy, but now we're just taking it down. Characters alone. Feelings of disassociation, loneliness. Guitar, electric piano, atmospheric. This is music that starts off the game. This is the opening track of the game. It's not the opening track of the album. I like Strange Little Bird more for opening. Alone is where you start with the character when you're in the 2D world, up in the GIF that's playing. Wearing the 2D pinks and purples, that art style, this is matched up with that, which I think is fitting. And I tried to talk with Armand at Frostwood about what would be the best sound for that, and he liked this one. I liked the sound because as the game progresses, the music becomes more involved. Strange Little Bird actually appears second in the game, first on the album. Thought it was better for an album. So Alone, first in the game. All, kind of hand-built synthesizers, not literally hand-built physically, on my computer. Played around with, distorted. Texture and guitars. And also the bird is such a main character in this game. Thought this was fun to kind of sound like a little bird songy, almost like a bird call with the electric piano. Yeah, big kind of settled bass moment. Thought it'd be fun to kind of ground the player, right? When you're playing through this, like, okay, there's something of substance that is going to be built upon in this soundtrack and weight in the story that's going to keep building and building throughout the game. You can definitely hear some of that like birdsong quality that I was going for in this. I don't think it's too egregious though. I don't think it's too heavy-handed. I think it works. It's playful. Sounds like it would fit the world. I think that was the goal. Armand thought so. And I kind of went with that and played with it. Going into track number 3, The Sunset Clouds. One of the last tracks in the game. This is the strongest kind of melody, I think, that we're seeing so far. And there's definitely the most bass in this one. So lots of like sub bass synthesizer. Marimba, like crazy. There's tons of marimba and electric piano. You might notice that Alone, the track before this, and The Sunset Clouds don't really use piano. Strange Little Bird does, but it's very minimal piano. There's not a lot. there's some building optimism here because the Sunset Clouds comes towards this version of the Sunset Clouds is like midway through the game. And I think Alone, the track before this, was maybe just a little bit too sparse to kind of to fit something like this later in the game as our character is developing and growing and learning and improving. I like this one. So there's celeste and marimba, electric piano, just a lot of like percussive, keyboardy type instruments, but no piano because the piano comes later. I think this part's nice. Armand thought it sounded like Coldplay. Maybe a little bit, some of their optimistic stuff, but definitely not the intention. Closing melody. Just a variation of the main melody. And that's the opening of Unwording. Those are the opening tracks, and you notice that there's like kind of minimal electronics. There's synthesizers. There's not a ton of piano, which is like what some people know me mainly for. Um, Keyboard instruments are definitely there, and there's atmosphere, and there's a lot of like attention to detail on my end with the synths that I was using and how I was making them to fit this kind of like delicate 2D world, essentially 2D, or like you're seeing in the little video playing. Um, it goes to 3D, but it's just like a side-scrolling kind of 3D where it still remains like pink and purple. You don't have that freedom to look around like you do later in the game. So trying to keep all of that in the back of my head when I was working on this, which is where everything changes as the world kind of shifts into 3D, into greater color. I talked with Armand. We thought it would be cool to just like do orchestral versions or add strings provided by Chandler, the violinist, and just like build out these versions and change them a little bit. Some things are a little different. Some instruments take different parts. There's tracks that have bigger changes, others have less big changes. There's some really beautiful performances by Chandler in here. I think she did such a good job with like being supportive and flexible on like what we were recording and when, and just putting her voice on it. Um, really great. And you'll hear some of that in Strange Little Bird. Lavender Orchestra version. 3 Orchestra versions. Lavender Orchestra versions. Starting with Strange Little Bird. Lavender Orchestra version. Already strings, more going on. I'm still pitch bending that piano note at the end of that melody just a little bit down. Da 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 da. Kind of. I don't know if that was a good impression. I think the violin really adds a lot to this. And she also played the tremolos and the other strings and all of that. I notated all this out for Chandler. Just recorded it actually right here in this room. So this part is not super different from the original, but then it gets a little bigger here. Yeah, full string orchestra swelling in there. I really like that string part. Chandler did a great job. Moving into Alone. Alone is pretty different from the original. Kind of forgot how like string heavy this one is. Listening to all back to back, there's like so many added violin lines that I think works. People like this one. This is the one I've like heard. I think sounds very pretty, so I'm thankful for that. I think this version is good. I like the Lavender Orchestra version of Alone. I like the non-Lavender one, but this one's just different. Kind of the same piano line as the original electric piano, that just plays a little bit different, a little bit slower, less bird-like. In terms of like bird song, not bird-like in any other way, just the bird song of the original. And that takes us out. That nice kind of string swell decrescendo just means getting quieter. Strings getting quieter. And this brings us into track 6, the Sunset Clouds Lavender Orchestra version. This is the ending track from Unwording. This is maybe my favorite track. I like Alone, Lavender Orchestra. I like the original Strange Little Bird too. I'm proud of what I wrote on all of this, but this one is pretty different from the non-Lavender version. Nice string parts. Chandler is great again. Big sweeping cello line you just heard. And then trumpet doing the melody, and then the piano is playing in a different time signature. Maybe it's not different. My bad. You notice electric piano is still here with the piano. I didn't replace it. Like everything's just coming together on this. This is the final track. Big, like all the elements working together. I got trumpets, clarinets, strings. Switch to more like mischievous key. A little bit more playful, a little bit more dark. Then leaving the darkness. And then kind of like almost like an epilogue end credits kind of feel here. Nice, warm, like rich, full ending. That was what I was going for here. That is the end of the main tracks. There's still Daydream versions, which we're going to listen to, but that is like the progression from the low point of the starting of the game to where we find ourselves ending. And I personally really like how Frostwood used that track we just heard. They held on to it for a really long time. Armand placed it later in the game, and like it was originally maybe going to be used like on loop throughout the later part of the game, but he chose to use it as like a hit point for like the final cutscene, kind of without spoiling what's happening. Um, and I think just like saving that track until the end of the game was really smart. I think it works well that way, and ultimately it's just like more rewarding because it's so clear how it starts if you just listen to it again. That like clarity in the opening melody, comes after some of the like Daydream versions. So we're gonna just listen through. I'm gonna leave them on because they're more of like slightly more of a passive listening experience. Um, I'm gonna talk about them like I've been talking about everything else. But the first one is like these are playing over the puzzle scenes in the game because this is a puzzle game. It is an adventure kind of narrative puzzle game. So when you're turning blocks and solving these visual puzzles and word puzzles, um, this is what plays, which is different versions, like slowed down, stretched out, elongated versions, muffled maybe, of the main tracks. So when you're playing at the point in the game where Strange Little Bird is happening, the first Strange Little Bird, if you go to a puzzle menu or like a puzzle pops up, you'll hear like the slowed down version of it as the puzzle is being solved, which I thought was cool. So like you're alternating between like this kind of dream state and then coming back to the game story, almost like you're inside the main character's head. And as these play, because they are elongated, they're adding some time to the album. Most of them are like 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes. So I can talk about the rest of the game. This is the Strange Little Bird Daydream version, and then that's in the same order as the other tracks. So Alone, Daydream, Sunset Clouds, Daydream. The bass sounds cool in these Daydream versions, in my opinion. Sounds different because I got to play around with it a little bit more and just like have this more wide, muffled kind of bass. And this whole album was mastered by Legato Mastering. I work with Marcin, I think. That's how you pronounce it? In Poland. Poczynski. And he's been really helpful. Chandler performed strings. I produced all of this. I mixed it. I got some opinions from people along the way, my friends and whatnot. Of course, Armand gave me directions at Frostwood Interactive. And soundtrack just came out on like the 12th. People have been, contacting me about some of this stuff as people listen through to it. The soundtrack's been available for purchase on Steam at like a steep discount to kind of promote the game and the music. I think now it's up to like a handful of dollars at this point. If you want to own it, that would be really supportive of me and my music and my work I did here. Of course, streaming it is great. Like if you like anything here, the Daydream versions for just like studying or kind of like relaxing. I had to playlist, share with friends, and all of that, and just like the melodic stuff too. Anything strikes, your interest. Happy that you're listening. So this game was cool just because like you were able to play around with art style progression. I really like that Armand did that, moving from all these different art styles. And I think I should have got like an example of the puzzle, but if you just check out the game Steam page, like you can see all the puzzle artwork and how this track that's currently playing would fit into that. And these were like such a pain to mix, these Daydream versions, the puzzle versions, because when you play around with like these frequencies, slow everything down or muffle or just like swamp with reverb, it's just so hard to get something that sounds like not totally offensive to your ears with like shrill, harsh frequencies. And mastering had a lot to do with that too, to help me with those. So I really want to know what you guys think about this whole soundtrack. I mean, listening through is great. I know I talk over the whole thing because I just don't want to like. I assume people are going to listen to this release before they want to hear me talk about it. So just talking through stuff. But if I missed anything, any questions about like the actual score, the soundtrack, the production, like I said, just like furiously printing out sheet music and had to make corrections and stuff for Chandler to record violin and all the string parts, because it's not just the violin we need to record, right? It's like the violin solo, and then it's like, okay, do that X number of times. And then it's like, okay, what about all these like tremolo parts that you're hearing, even the ones that are muffled? Those are strings right now. So all the tremolo parts for like some viola crossover into her violin and violin and covering cello parts with her violin over it. So it was just like a lot of different parts. It's a lot just for one like violin recording session. And it took a while. It was just a night we did here months ago because obviously all this takes time. I'm working on the score. Oh, and also this is Alone. This is Alone, the Daydream version, so the puzzle version. Early in the game, if you like trigger a puzzle, it'll switch over to this track that's playing on loop. And writing for video games is so fun. I mean, I just wanted to talk about. I feel like for me, video games are where I like do my best work. Maybe I love writing for other things and for film and like TV shorts, projects, commissions. I feel like video games, like I have the most ability to like play to my strengths, which is like strong melody, kind of dreaminess, playfulness, and color, right? Because a lot of these games are super colorful, like Unwording is. But just having that ability to like have the freedom to move around so much with my creativity is so. I'm really grateful for that. I love writing for games. You can hear the strings cut through in the Daydream versions. So I'm really hoping to write for more games in the future. I I love it. I love it a ton. I mean, Nintendo's been a huge influence on me on like my whole career. There's a million other games too. Honestly, like every time Minecraft comes back into the public eye and like there's a new update, I feel like my music does pretty well because people seek out that like more ambient but melodic stuff. I would love to write something for Minecraft. Um, Alone, this Daydream version for Alone is interesting because some of the violins and strings really still come through nicely, I think. Yeah, but like Nintendo has been a huge influence. All those like 2000s games, like 2000s, late 2000s Nintendo, and just like indie soundtracks now and then that I come across and really love. I've just been watching through like Tears of the Kingdom and enjoying all of that music. Breath of the Wild's music's so good too, but just like the production style of all those like newer Nintendo games is just so detailed and rich, and everything is so present. Um, I do kind of miss like some of the Nintendo sound of like the like Smash Bros, like the melee, like Star Fox levels, where you get some of that like really wide, big orchestral sound that sounds kind of natural, like on Corneria, whatever it's called. And that takes us to the Sunset Clouds Daydream version, which is the last track on the album. I think it works well in like a puzzle version because it's already so like rich and mid heavy and bass heavy kind of as a track. So when you muffle it, it sounds kind of cool and stands out. No, like I was saying, just like with Nintendo, with all those games, there's like tons of um, indie composers that I've liked. Austin Wintory and Jessica Curry doing cool stuff. I think Gareth Coker is the guy who did Ori in the Blind Forest or whatever. I think he just did something for Nintendo, which is really jealous of. That'd be great, especially as like an American. It's hard to get into that circle at Nintendo, so good for him. Yeah, I like this Daydream version, puzzle version. I think it's relaxing. But yeah, just video games. Huge inspirations from a lot of stuff. Honestly, also like I'd love to write music for Civilization. I think they could use like a little bit of a shakeup on some of their music, and I love it. I love their music, but I think the like progressing from ancient to medieval. So the music in Civilization progresses from like ancient, medieval, uh, industrial, and like modern or something or atomic. And so the music, kind of like an Unwording, changes and adds to it as it goes along, even though it's like a bass track that's kind of sounding similar. And I think it would be really cool to do something different with Civilization. Keep it orchestral in a lot of ways, but I don't know if like the progressing with each time period is what makes the most sense for that game franchise anymore. think I'd almost rather just have like five different tracks for each civilization that all has like a modern kind of ambient or melodic style. I don't know. I'm just thinking about this in real time. I don't know if that's the right call. I haven't really thought about that hard. But I think Civilization could use some changes to the music. I've actually talked to some of the people who wrote the music or arranged it because they're all from existing melodies of that game, and they were really kind and really nice and really helpful with their advice to me when I reached out. But yeah, I wonder if using existing folk melodies from all these different civilizations could be done in a different way. I think it could. I know we're supposed to be talking about unwording, but just kind of went on a tangent. Nintendo, great. Civilization, great. Minecraft, great. Love to write music for all three. And then this electronic piano melody, slowed down, is I think pretty fun. And that's the end of unwording. 9 tracks, 33 minutes. Came out last Friday. Streaming everywhere. Please give it a listen without me talking over it. Give it a listen, form your opinions, like let me know. Please reach out, like comment. I post these to YouTube if you're not on Twitch. Check it out on my YouTube channel. Reach out to me on Instagram. Like I'm pretty accessible. If I'm not working on some like project, these just wrapped up. So I'm kind of working on some other stuff right now, like mainly getting like merch together, I'd say, and like figuring out some label placements for a release of mine. Um, that's kind of taking up a lot of my time right now. I'm taking like kind of this week to get refocused back on another project I have with Alex as well. But I'm just really working on my album that I'm wrapping up, trying to figure out where that's going. Um, and yeah, just taking more time to like actually work on merch. I'm working on some t-shirts. Um, I think I have a good idea of what I want. It's going to be pretty simple, I think, in terms of colors, just like a unisex sizing, and just working on like where I'm getting the shirts from right now. But I'm talking to some people with design experience and have some ideas. So that'll be exciting. So the merch is going to come out soon. Maybe not like too soon, but that'll be that'll be good. So keep an eye on that, please. Um, Unwording, yeah, give it a listen, please. Check it out. Check out the game on Steam. It's like $5, I think. Um, or don't quote me on that, but I think it is right now. Maybe around there. Could be a little more. Could be a little less. From Frostwood Interactive, they were really friendly. Really just kind guy Armand who developed this game. Everyone who worked on this game did a great job, and um, just so much kindness and creativity at this studio. And I was just happy to be a part of it. And please just listen, share, add to playlists, like it, save it to your library. Like that's really what Spotify cares about. When you like it, add it to playlists and just sharing it. Um, Apple, same thing. That would be great. Which brings us to the final thing, which is my music for Alaska Airlines, which is crazy. The turnaround for this was like 2 days, I think. I had some drafts with Alex, so that's what this little screenshot is, or this still from the from the production. It is it was an unveiling of a plane that the artist Crystal Whirl um, created. They like repainted the plane with Crystal's artwork as a native artist, and I got to write the music for it, which is something I'm really proud of. Alex did a beautiful spot for them. There's also a time lapse video that music was used in, and we're just going to listen through to my music for Khat Kwani, salmon people. Please check out the spot, but the music on its own is something that I haven't released yet. I'm still working on it. I need to put it together and get it properly mastered. So we're in a really good spot, just like to share it before anyone else has heard it really on its own, before it is properly released. Let's listen through. It's 2 minutes long. Salmon people. Yeah, and that flute line, me and Alex talked about that a lot, and we thought that kind of embodied the Alaskan atmosphere. And I mentioned before, I worked with Alex a while. She's an Alaska Native director. She tells a lot of Native stories, local tribes, and does just really great work behind the camera and with production. Alex recorded drummer Conrad Frank, I think is his full name. She sent over these recordings for me to use in the soundtrack, and I just picked this one. I liked how it speeds up. Just lowered it a little bit. Plane unveiling. So, big plane, all unveiled. Check out the video, you'll see it. The music on its own has some interesting stuff going on, I think. Of just like, of course, you get this build, which is just a technical thing because Alex needs time to like fade it in properly as she was editing. Alex is cool because she does a lot of the music first. Big drum hit. She does a lot of the music first and then creates around that, which is really neat. Obviously, with like a 2-day turnaround, it was tight just to work on something like this for her, but I got it done. I like this little part, having those kind of piano and flute. Marimba, a little bit of a theme right there. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, going further along. Drums slowly come in. I mean, this one was just so fun to write. Like, I can't believe that I got to do something for Alaska Airlines, like with that turnaround, for an unveiling of a new plane. Like, it's just so nice that Alex can work with me on this stuff and like bring in something and recognize the creativity of everyone involved, from the artist who painted the plane, designed the plane, artwork, and everyone who's just worked on it. And Alex's cinematography and the crew's work, cinematography and like lighting, everything's just so good. Really love it. And the time lapse turned out great too. This is all like on my YouTube and social media and Linktree and everything. This is great. Like, I was just really proud to work on something like this. for the one of the largest airlines in the country. And the team was really nice at Alaska. Everyone's super kind. I think like that's just the biggest key with what is a successful project for me is just like when people the atmosphere is right for everyone involved and everyone just wants to do good work. There's flexibility, there's like kindness, there's creative confidence with everyone involved. Alex like knew she could turn this around. Stressful for her because she had to fly everywhere, but she knew she could do it and she produced something great. Congrats to her. Congrats to Crystal. And I'm working on getting this kind of produced and wrapped up and mastered properly for streaming. I think it'll be out sooner than later. Um, but yeah, if you want to check out my music and the whole production for Alaska Airlines, go look at their video. And that's like the first peek, really, the first listen to my music for the Spot Salmon people, Hut Kwani, which is Tlingit, which is a tribe. But the language is written in on the plane, actually, which is pretty cool. It's not in English for some of it. The name of it's not in English. Um, paying kind of honor to the roots of the company, which is just really nice. So congrats to Alaska for even working with local artists, especially ones that are as talented as Alex. My music will be out soon. Unwording is out now. The game, you can own the soundtrack. Please add it to playlist, listen to it, share it. Tell me what you like, share what you like. Um, you can, follow me on Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube later. I post stuff days later onto YouTube if you want to be a part of the conversation or just like give me some input real time. Come join, ask questions on Twitch. If there's anything you want me to review, any like recent work or past work that you want me to review, please just let me know anywhere. I'll give a listen. I think I'm going to keep everything pretty current though. Like last week I did a review kind of a listen through of an album I wrote in 2019. I think I kind of want to on the whole keep stuff more current. I might touch like a couple pieces maybe every time I stream, maybe that are from my past. I'm still kind of figuring it out. But on the whole, I think just like what I'm currently doing and what I'm up to and releases that are recent is maybe the best way to go. This is a longer stream for me. I'm going to keep it a little shorter in the future. But like I said, it was just like a crazy week. So I had a lot to kind of update on with these two projects and just was feeling good, was just feeling happy. So um, thanks for kind of listening and watching, following along. Thanks for all the support. And I'll see you next week. Don't know what I'm going to be talking about quite yet, but I have a few ideas that are going to be exciting. So come join. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all of this. Bye.